does it take to become a qualified worker in a field like construction, beauty therapy, or electrical installation in the Cayman Islands? For Caymanian adults and recent high school graduates, the local pathways toward work in a trade are varied, splintered between certifying programs from North America, Europe, the United Kingdom, and the Caribbean. The number of Cayman's TVET institutions to choose from, however, can be counted on one hand. After the high school level, vocational students are likely to find themselves in one of three institutions: Inspire Cayman Training, University College of the Cayman Islands, or Cayman Career Academy. With no national TVET or apprenticeship structure in place, these institutions have taken on implementing their own visions and partnerships with international certifying bodies to educate and prepare the Cayman Islands workforce.
The core mission of Inspire is really to promote and support young people and folks wanting to do either career changes, but also to help young people become competitive. The Cayman Islands sits on a global platform. We have to teach our kids to be competitive.
Technical and vocational education are the driving economic forces for a lot of the Caribbean nations, and Cayman Islands is no different. As you can see, there's an explosion in the building sector, and being able to train young adults and retrain those who are on the job is what is significantly important.
I really do believe that there is so much potential for young Caymanians, and it will be so wonderful to see our graduates, which we have now got, going into the likes of the Kimpton and the Ritz, and to put our stamp, on those passports and let them out into the world with a big, nice Cayman Career Academy on there.
Cayman separate TVET institutions share a common goal of empowering Caymanians to excel in a changing workforce. They also share many of the same challenges, including stigma against hands-on jobs, the disruption of COVID, and lack of financial support, such as TVET-specific scholarships from government. In the last episode of Island Jobs, we heard about the transforming Cayman Islands economy and how the pandemic has affected job seekers. Today, we meet some of the educators who make adult vocational education possible in Cayman and hear from students about their dreams for the future. Leaders at Workforce Opportunities and Residency Cayman and Cayman Institute of Technology declined to be interviewed for this series. Mention vocational training in the Cayman Islands, and the first name you're likely to hear is Michael Miles, a social worker by training and founder of Inspire Cayman. Through his journey establishing Inspire, Miles has learned that vocational education means much more than just teaching a skill set. It's about investing in people.
One of the biggest things that I noticed right away was we had many young people that were just being written off. They could not fit into our public education school system, so we either pushed them through or we pushed them out. So as a social worker, I was consistently going to court and representing young people for a variety of different criminal offenses. I got tired of that, and I wanted to do some early intervention, or prevention. It was time to create something that people could come and get professional development, could get viable qualifications.
Inspire Cayman, opened in 2019, offers in-person and online coursework for a range of technical areas: automotive, electrical, air conditioning and refrigeration, and computer repair, to name a few, all backed by accrediting bodies and with the end goal of recognized certification. Further education programs like these can open doors for students and boost professional confidence. Education level, after all, is one factor that correlates directly with employment. In fall 2020, 56.8% of unemployed Caymanians reported high school as their highest level of educational attainment. At the same time, however, half of unemployed Caymanians also reported that they had received job-specific training. 3 out of 4 jobless Caymanians cited no work available as the reason for their unemployment. With even trained workers struggling to succeed in Cayman, how can local job seekers be better prepared to excel in an evolving job market? How can we ensure that investment in job education and training pays off?
30 years ago, Cayman wasn't well known. We didn't have 135 different nationalities in our country. Our population was under 15,000. We now have 60,000, and we're hoping to get that up to 100,000. So we have to start to teach our children entrepreneurial skills, how to manage themselves financially, and how to be competitive. That's what Inspire has been set up to do. How do I ensure that the person that's getting off the plane is going to get a run for their money with the kid that sits in our country?
What Miles has found is that before skills-based training begins, many job seekers must first learn the basics of employment, from getting a job to keeping it. Without this foundation, graduates may struggle to survive in Cayman's competitive and international workforce.
I started interviewing companies. So I was walking into NCB and Mac Alpine and a lot of big companies that dealt with construction. And I was excited about teaching our kids about plumbing and electrical and automotive. And I was passionate about this. And then all of a sudden, these folks said, well, are you going to put in something in there to do with professional development? And I said, what do you mean? I thought that, you guys needed plumbers and electricians. They're like, yeah, but we need them to also get to work in time. And you're going to have to teach that as well. So I went back to the drawing board. I redesigned Inspire as a holistic program. So we now offer full professional development.
Before studying technical skills, all Inspire students start with an 80-hour mandatory course called Tools to Success. Here they learn how to create a strong first impression with employers, how to write a resume, how to manage professional relationships, and communicate effectively.
The goal for me is to reduce chronic long-term employment among Caymanians, reduce recidivism rates within the prison system. We have 2 programs as well that we work with within the prison system. We have one at Fairbanks Prison and we have another one at Northwood. So we're busy doing a lot of things. I'd like to continue to contribute to that, but in a strategic way. Unfortunate thing is that every time I reach out to the government, it just doesn't go well. So I have reserved myself of doing what I can for the folks that walk through my door.
To date, Inspire's trained around 300 students in various job skills. One of those students is Antoine Powell, an HVAC apprentice at Polar Bear, who studied at the Cayman Islands Further Education Center, CIFEC, and UCCI before finding his fit at Inspire Cayman.
When they started me on online schooling, they started me on the first course. It's the history of HVAC. So it showed when HVAC started, how they invented the first cooling machine, and that caught my interest. So it wasn't really easy because it's very technical. There's a lot of stuff that you can't mess up. Like if there's one broken wire, that could shut down your whole AC unit. So it's not really easy per se, but it's very interesting. So the interest is really what keeps me going. To be honest, in high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. It wasn't until I came to Inspire Cayman that I knew what I wanted to do, because I have a lot of interest in many specific fields, but I'm not a guy that likes schooling, but I have to do what I have to do. So for a year and a half to do HVAC training, I sucked it up and I said, fine. If Mr. Miles didn't believe in me and given me an option to do what I needed to do, I would still be at home doing nothing, or, I don't even know what I would be doing right now.
At Superior Automotive and Industrial Park, automotive students are pursuing their own professional journey. Here, Inspire's automotive students have access to classroom instruction, where they learn the theory behind vehicle repair, and to a working mechanics shop, where they can get hands-on practice.
Well, today I've got a group of trainees that are participating in the Introduction to Automobiles course. And so we are just working our way through the course, educating them on the ins and outs of the automobile and the automobile industry. Some of the trainees came in with no experience whatsoever, which this course is designed for, so that's perfectly fine. And then we also had some of the trainees that entered the course with a whole lot of background, and that's fine too. What I find always, though, because I've been teaching automotive since 1998, is that a lot of times the people that enter the automotive industry training think they know more than they really do. And so inevitably somebody is, no matter how much they've been dealing with it, is going to learn something.
For me, it's actually been a very educational course because it's taught me a lot. I've always had a passion for automobiles, probably since the age of 15. Like I used to just name cars off the side of the road when I was in the car. But then I started really taking a hands-on kind of approach to it after I realized that's kind of what I've always been really meant for.
Well, I first started out when I finished high school. I was looking to do trade schools. And I was first looking at the US, but due to COVID, I decided to look more local and I found Inspire Cayman. And we started about beginning of the year. Well, I'm hoping to either move on and get like an apprenticeship or like a job at a mechanic shop, or maybe another trade that follows along with mechanics. I like the like hands-on and like the knowledge you need to know how to do certain things and how not everyone knows that, and you can help people and being stuck in situations and stuff.
The career possibilities are huge. So many people don't realize how many jobs are related to the automotive industry. I was an automotive technician professionally for over 10 years before I got into education. So just because you start out working on cars for a living and turning wrenches doesn't mean that you're always going to be doing that. You may want to, but you don't have to. The person that owns this facility started out as a dealership technician working at the factory dealers, but now he owns his own business and he very seldom works on the cars.
There's a lot of openings for new mechanics. We would need to go to the next level to get full qualifications, but after that there's a lot of openings for well-paying jobs, a lot of hours. With trades, there's jobs you can always do all over the world, so you can travel, and if you get really good at it, you could open your own shop or charge a lot and get a lot of money.
Well, what I'm hoping is to eventually make my way into a garage. I know I'm probably going to start it from the bottom, like just sweeping in general. But eventually I'll just make my way up. And what I'm hopeful is to become a master technician by the end of this course, and if the course continues on to the next stage. And eventually even open up my own business or like shop, but that's kind of like thinking far ahead right now.
Motor vehicle repairs and sales rank as the most preferred future industry among unemployed Caymanians, followed by construction and finance. Motor vehicle repair and construction are also among the employment categories with under 50% Caymanian representation. Broken down by the number of people employed, these two categories also stand out as two of the largest employment sectors and work permit holder categories in the islands.
That's the reason why I came to this island almost 10 years ago, was because actually I was told that Cayman had a significant issue with needing somebody to train automotive technicians. I was told by people at the Department of Education that basically they were having a difficult time finding a Caymanian automotive technician. And they were right. There are very, very few. And so that was like music to an educator's ears. I was like, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. I mean, you have people that actually want to learn how to do this. That's fantastic. And so I really, really take a lot of enjoyment out of helping people.
At University College of the Cayman Islands, TVET courses like HVAC, plumbing, and electrical are largely held in the evening. This allows students to work during the day and study at night. HVAC instructor Lawton Lewis is confident that sacrificing evenings to complete his course will pay off for his students.
For every year that we have put out students who have completed this course, every one of them have been employed, and if they are not employed, they have gone on to start their own companies, their own business in air conditioning and refrigeration. So yes, I do believe that there will always be room for AC techs. Yeah. For the Cayman Islands, every building or almost every building that you enter into has air conditioning in there. So it's obvious that it's a trade that is always going to be needed. So what is happening here on island is that UCCI is training persons on the Cayman Islands and Caymanians to be able to become air conditioning techs, and the companies are loving that. One of the drawbacks though is that it's not marketed so much to to persons at, say, the high school level. So a lot of persons don't actually know about this career path, so what's normally marketed is probably business, because Cayman is big on business. So the business field is marketed and the science field is marketed, but not so much the skill trade side, and not so much air conditioning and refrigeration.
Across the road on the John Gray High School campus, UCCI students are studying electrical installation, a fundamental skill for a variety of technical fields, including HVAC. This is a hands-on course where students have the opportunity to problem solve in a supervised setting, and it's the first step toward becoming a licensed electrician.
Those guys, they show a lot of enthusiasm and they are eager to learn. And what they are learning is what really needed in the wider society. So it's a circuit which is applicable in the house, in condos, anywhere. And once you can do it on a board, you're able to transfer the knowledge in the practical situation. With the skill set, you're able to conduct a project from start to finish. You're able to read and interpret diagram and install the components accordingly. There was a situation in one of those circuits, which I'm glad it arose. There was a short circuit, and they had was to troubleshoot to see where the problem occurred. And in troubleshooting, what they actually did was to isolate the different components to determine where the fault actually lies.
This course has students of all ages, from recent high school graduates to mid-career professionals. Instructor Kirkland Lawrence uses this diversity to the group's advantage, strategically pairing students so they can learn from each other.
The younger ones come in with little or no knowledge. So what I do when I'm teaching, especially practical, I pair them with the least experience with one of the person with the most experience, and then they can learn as they go along. And then when they collaborate and cooperate together and work as a team, because teamwork is also important on the site to get the job done.
Having done level 1, I have learned so much things from so many different people because I'm only 18 and the rest of them are more experienced than me. So when I join a class with so much different people, I actually get to learn from them because there's a lot of things that I do not know.
There are people from all different backgrounds that come in. There are some people that have worked in the electrical field for many, many years, and they share their experience in the classes with everyone else, and it helps them. So we kind of learn what the norms are, all right, and also to what to expect when we actually get out there in the field. So we share experiences.
I just always loved STEM, like, math, science, engineering, technology, and stuff. And I did the electrical course at John Gray, but I didn't really know that they would have classes that actually gave me a lot of hands-on experience. So it's just last year, like during the COVID and everything, that I actually saw a poster and I was really wondering what exactly is this, and I signed up for it, and that's how I actually got to know that these kind of opportunities are available.
I love the environment here, all right? It's a very relaxed environment, all right? But it's also one that's motivating and encouraging. So everybody sort of encourages everybody else. The instructors don't talk down to anyone. It's like we're all in this together.
During the course of making this series, UCCI announced a change in leadership, with former President Stacey McAfee finishing her own term at the end of 2021, in the midst of implementing a 5-year plan for the institution. It was not yet known at the time of broadcast how this change may affect the university's goals or TVET programs. An observational factor across vocational classrooms in the Cayman Islands is that many of the students are not Caymanian. Like the population, classes comprise a diverse mix of nationalities. At Cayman Career Academy, founder Jacqueline Smith would like to find a way to get more Caymanians registered in courses and certified to work in beauty therapy.
I was approached by work, Ms. Diane Conley, who said they were very impressed that we were like the leaders in skincare in the Cayman Islands. And so she felt that we were in a situation where there were too many foreigners in this field, and yet they had it knocking at their doors all the time, young Caymanians saying they need a job. So you can't get a job unless you're trained, of course, and you can't displace. We need our expats, so we have to have them if we don't have our locals. So she said, would you be interested in opening up a school with skincare and beauty and blah, blah, blah. So I said, yeah, well, here we go again. I was about to retire, but let's go again. My only thing is that what I'm seeing is that I wish more Caymanians, indigenous Caymanians, because the whole idea of when I was asked to do the school was that it would be for, we had like 700 work permit holders in this profession. And that's why they were asking, can we train people locally to do it? What I'm finding is that our expat population who work here, they're embracing it more than our locals. Now, I don't know if that's because of price restraints and scholarships not being readily available, or what the deal is. The first year, the government did give scholarships. The second year, no, I didn't get anything. The hardest year was last year because it was COVID. We had to lock down the schools by mandate, and we could only do things on Zoom. So it was like, hey guys, this is when I need support. I had to chop the prices and by 50% to attract some people. I had to ask my staff to take a pay cut because I still had to keep the school open and pay the rent and blah, blah, blah. So it was a very, very difficult year, and I had no government support at all. And so, but we bridged the challenge, and being resilient as we are, we had exceptional passes again, and so we're proud of that.
At this school, the other lecturer, Miss Hannah, and I have been privileged to educate people with tertiary level education, meaning they've had degrees in environmental science, they had degrees in management, they had masters, right? I myself come with both a master's and a bachelor's, and so people always are like, well, what are you doing in a beauty school? Because you work where you love and you have a passion and a drive for. And my mother was an educator, and I grew up seeing my mother educating. I always wanted to be a teacher. This school was built for local Caymanians, however, it's not being serviced by local Caymanians. And it is because of the misconception and the mindset. And we do need a cultural change and a shift in cultural thinking in order for Cayman to progress with what's been here, because it's the first school in the Caribbean in 2019 when we launched it. The misconception that beauty people are at the lower end of the totem pole. We are not. People have built mansions doing this. People for just the people who can't have a university degree or can't go to university. This is for people who just have a passion and want to do something in the beauty industry, because in our industry it's all about giving. It's not taking. We are always giving. We are always serving.
Misconceptions about TVET in general are abundant, from stereotypes about the types of people who pursue these jobs to underestimating the required academic vigor and the potential career earnings in such fields.
Science and technology, engineering, and math absolutely is insanely important for many of the vocational trades, but especially automotive. Honestly, it makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck when I hear somebody say it, that, oh, it's so great that you're offering these programs for all those people that aren't smart enough to go to college. Whoa, wait a minute here. That's almost like calling me dumb, because that's my career. You actually have to be quite intelligent in order to work on today's cars. It is very challenging if you want to be the top. If you want to be a diagnostic technician that is doing computer diagnostics and electronics repair, you have to be very bright.
There's a stigma that if you're working as a blue-collar job, you won't make any money or anything. You have to work behind the desks, make more money. You have to be a lawyer. But if you really look at the facts, blue-collar workers are who build your homes, who make sure your HVAC system is working, make sure your lawn is kept on if you don't do it. So this field is really broad in what you can do. Nick, what keeps the world running. So the stigma behind blue collar jobs is more of an old fashioned thing that I see that's going away more now. I see more people in my year, my peers, really looking after more blue collar jobs now. No one really wants to be behind the desk.
Other barriers to technical and vocational work come down to opportunity.
I think some of the challenges that we look forward to seeing resolved are they may get the internship opportunity, but then they may not be the avenue for them to continue to train in that. And I think at this stage, the UCCI is where we are looking to make sure that education is available for them. And so by getting a national internship and apprenticeship program that is really structured and has a good flow of how it will lay out and supported by all players, I think can also help to drive the importance of technical vocational education and training.
More apprenticeships would be the way into getting young Caymanians interested in these fields. Because if you look at it, most of these ads looking for jobs, you have to have 5 years experience, and out of high school, you won't have anything near that. I think getting more young Caymanians into their school, even if they can't afford it, would really help for the future of Caymanians.
Why are we not ensuring that our children aspire for more, aspire for greatness, and then let's pull someone else back up? That's what I was told as a kid. You make it, you pull some more people up, right? So to go on this path to help our country, we need government to stay involved in this, because government is going to have to put funding, and they're going to have to ensure that the processes are in place and to clear away the bureaucracy and clutter. And we need the private sector involved in this. And then we need entities like mine to come to the table with all the programs and training and our professional staffing.
On the next episode of Island Jobs, we meet some of the apprentices and employers tackling hands-on work in the construction and healthcare sectors. What are the aspirations of these young workers, and what do they need to succeed? Tune in next episode for more of Island Jobs, and in the meantime, follow the island's latest education news at caymancurrent.org, or join in the conversation by email at news@caymancurrent.org with your thoughts on TVET, STEM, and Cayman's workforce.
Hey, Lord, Lord, Lord. Well, 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 well. Yesterday I was broke. Today I got paper beyond your dreams. That's gone up in smoke, and everything ain't what it seemed. Real comeback story. Come back, come back, come back. Real